Okay, thank you for the math lab question. Let's go over this. This is basically factoring. There's a few ways to do this, but I always like to, this one is pretty intense. So you could do guess and check, or I could do factor by grouping. So I'm going to do factor by grouping. So if you've never done factor by grouping, now's a great time to learn or practice review. So, all right, let's do factor by grouping. Let's use red. So I look at this to do factor by grouping, and my goal, just to show you the big picture, is I'm looking for something times something. When I multiply out those binomials, it gives me this. Then once you have that, then you can go from there. Yeah, I could use the quadratic formula to solve this as well. That might be easier. But let's factor it. So what I'm going to do is multiply 6 times negative 7. This is just a process. Negative 42. I don't have my cool pen, so I'm using my mouse. So I want to know what is negative 42 to add to give you 19? I don't know. So I want to write out some factors. I know 2 and 21. I just took half of it. I think I am already there. Because if I do one of these, because one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So let's make this negative. So 21 minus 2 is 19. That's the goal. I want to know what are those two numbers that adds up to give you that middle number. That one right there. And then from that, I rewrite my factors. So I'm going to have 6t squared minus 2t. I'm just rewriting 19t plus 21t that's a ridiculous t, and then minus 7. If you notice, all I did, I replaced 19 with negative 2t plus 21t. It's the same thing, just kind of rewrote it. Now you're going to group. That's why it's called factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first two and the last two. This always works as long as it's factorable. So I look at my first two terms. What can factor out? My greatest common factor looks like that's 2t. And if I factor out 2t, I'm left with 3t minus 1 plus, and I do the same with the other two. What will factor into both of those? Looks like it's a 7. And if I divide that out, I get 3t minus 1. And there's your miracle. It's not a miracle, but it always works. Could be a miracle if you want to see it that way. Notice I have 3t minus 1 and 3t minus 1. They're the same. So I just bring that down. So you're going to have 3t minus 1. There's one factor. And the other factor is what's on the outside. It's 2t plus 7. Okay, you factored it. Okay, you're still not done. You have to take both of those, set them equal to 0, and solve it, because that was the whole point whenever you factor something. So now you got to go 3t minus 1 equals 0. And the other side, you got to go 2t plus 7 equals 0. Let's draw a little line between, just so it could look like that. Kind of a big mess here. Now you got to solve both of those and you're done. This one, you're adding 1 on both sides, divide by 3. Okay, I'm just going to cheat. So t is equal to 1/3. And I just didn't write it out, but I'm adding 1 on both sides. The next step, divide by 3. So your answer is t is equal to 1/3. This one, you're subtracting 7 on both sides. And then divide by 2, so it's going to be negative 7. That is a 7. Divided by 2. That's negative 7 over 2. That's it. Those are your zeros. So I should just click this. The zeros are me see it. Does it say right as an ordered pair? Type in the energy, use it. So it looks like no ordered pair. If you needed to type an ordered pair, you would go 0, 1/3. Because you plugged in a 0. Excuse me, I said that backwards. You would go 1/3, 0, and -7/2, 0. But looks like they just want the zeros, which is just the t value. But the best way to look at typing the answer, click on View an Example, and it gives you how they want the answer in that particular problem, so you understand. Okay, there you go. Hopefully that helps. See ya.